Call the City of Twinsburg Caucus meeting for November 14th, 2023 to order. The time is 7:01 p.m. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mrs. Walker? Present. Mr. Post?
Here.
Mr. Deeds?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mrs. Labby? Here.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Do we have any presentations this evening?
There are none.
All right, items for discussion. I believe Mrs. Benson is here to speak about the field use and rules policy. Mrs. Benson, we'll turn the floor over to you. Good evening.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. So before you is the new field and facility reservation rules and fees document. In March, Council passed Ordinance 2323, giving our department the ability to create these rules in order to protect and properly run the amenities in our department. This is one of those tools. The document that we sent you in April has now been revised. We met with the organizations that were affected over the summer, and then we let a season go where we wanted their feedback. We wanted to see how things worked for them, and we came up with this document. The purpose of this tool is so that we can coordinate and regulate the use of city-owned fields for all activities, enhance community recreation and enjoyment of fields, and ensure equitable field access for all users in the community. Have you all seen the document?
It's in box.
Yes.
Yes. No?
Yeah, I believe it is.
It is in box.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go through the whole document because it actually increased in size from the one that we sent you in April. I'll just highlight a couple of the items that we did change. We did establish a priority for assigning the fields, that the city itself will come first. So instead of us having to go to the entities and ask to use the fields that are tasked under us, we will now have that ability to assign those to ourselves first. We have defined what a preferred youth organization is by creating parameters. They must be 90% recreational play with 10% competitive play. They must have 85% city or district residents as their participants, and they must be a 501c3. There are other qualifications in that document, but those are the ones that highlight the most. So those three qualifications already cover the current organizations that are using our fields. The other part of this document is that now we have established a reservation policy. They will come to our department to reserve the field. They will ask at the beginning of the year, they will tell us what they need. We will then assign it based on a priority status with those preferred youth organizations. This does not mean that no other organization can use our fields. This just means that there is now a priority system in place. We won't tell them how to use those fields. We will just simply say, you requested Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 to 8. We will give you these fields Monday, Wednesday, 3 to 8. What they do within that time is up to them. Again, there are some other parameters in that reservation, but those are the highlights. The other piece that was concerning to some of the current organizations was the fees. So we clarified that any preferred youth sports organization will be exempt from field use fees, but they are not exempt from paying a security deposit for the season, and they are not exempt from tournament play fees.
I have a question.
Sure.
Does that also apply for the ones with the 501c3?
That's any preferred youth sports organization. So if you've gone and you've qualified under all those parameters in that first section of the document, then you are considered a preferred youth sports organization.
Okay.
And then you do not pay the field use fees, but you still pay the security deposits, the tournament fees, any permitting, any concession fees.
Okay.
But any organization that does not fall in those guidelines but still uses the fields will have to pay field use fees. We have confirmed that there will be no signage, banners, tents, advertising located on the property. So all those banners and things that you see now will no longer be part of our field. The last thing that we did add was a non-compliance policy. We felt that we needed something in place in case there was an issue that arose that needed to be addressed. So this gives us the ability to address those issues. It is something that would go to our department, and then Michelle and I would take it to the mayor and, forward if we needed to, bringing it to council. I appreciate the time that you've taken to look at the document. Is there any questions that anyone has at this time?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
Go ahead, we'll start left to right, go ahead.
Okay. I know that when this first came about, and you already mentioned it, there were several organizations, current organizations, that were upset. In your opinion, have the changes put forward addressed those, the majority of those issues?
In my opinion,
Specifically Twinsburg Baseball League and those kind of things?
In my opinion, we have taken all of the organization's thoughts and considerations and organized a document that we feel is the best for all organizations across the board.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to dovetail off that. And so, is the city maintaining the fields, or are the leagues maintaining the fields, or is it kind of a hybrid situation?
It's a hybrid situation. We will maintain the fields Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30 p.m. After that, we will prep the fields and get them ready to go. After that, they are responsible for maintaining those fields. That is why we are not charging those youth sports organizations under the preferred umbrella a field use fee.
Yeah, because I know that, a lot of those parent groups do a really good job in, let's say if it rains on Friday at 4 o'clock and, knowing the cities from the city can go out there and do anything, they have the drying agents and all those things that they do and really do a great job prepping the fields. So they can still do that whenever they want, but the city will maintain it the rest of the time.
Correct, unless we as the city deem the field unplayable. If we have said it is unplayable, you cannot play it, we're going to have to figure something out, then we have to work together on that. But we can say the field is unplayable, and that's to protect the integrity of the field.
Right, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But if they, okay.
Yeah, parent volunteer organizations are really, really important, so I don't want to disturb that.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
Other questions for Mrs. Benson?
Okay.
Anything additional you'd like to add, Jen? That was
Nope,
very thorough.
just
Great
appreciate
document.
the support.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving along, audience participation. Shannon, do we have anyone this evening?
There is none.
All right. That moves us to pending legislation. We have a few pieces of legislation this evening. We're going to start out with Ordinance 104, 2023. This ordinance is to enter into a mutual aid agreement with Aurora for police services. This agreement will be on its second reading this evening. Council have any questions or discussion regarding 104? Again, this is the second reading for this. Mr. Dietz?
I do have one, and this is actually for Mr. Vazana. You were looking around, so I couldn't tell. Okay. So in paragraph 6 of that agreement, it says something that Aurora will not indemnify and hold harmless Twinsburg for any damages. Then it goes on to talk about officers and things like that. But that it was not mutual. Shouldn't it also read that Twinsburg will not indemnify Aurora, or is it?
Well, neither party can indemnify the other.
That's what I thought.
Under state law. I think, I'll double check. When I read that, I didn't identify a problem from the mutual standpoint just by nature of who's providing the mutual aid here. But I will double check to make sure we don't need to add a reciprocal clause on that. I don't believe they'd have a problem with it, but.
Yeah, I thought that neither could indemnify one another, so, but since I saw that in there, I just thought I'd bring it up. That was the only thing I had.
Okay, appreciate it. Anything else on 104, 2023? All right, that moves us along to Resolution 111, 2023. This resolution is to enter into an agreement with ODOT for federal funds for the resurfacing of Highland Road in 2024. The city applied and received funds to resurface this road. The resolution is being asked to be placed on its third reading this evening. We're asking to place it on emergency as the project will be bid in January of 24. This agreement needs to be in place prior to advertising for those bids. Any questions regarding Resolution 111, 2023? The city engineer is here. and ready to answer any questions the council may have. All right, hearing none, because it was so well prepared, we move along to Resolution 112, 2023. And this resolution is to enter an agreement with the City of Solon for jail services. City Council passed legislation in 2012 allowing for the housing of prisoners in the Solon Jail. This is a renewal agreement with a base cost of $102,000 per year for a term of 3 years.
Is it 200 or something?
I thought it was 107. This might be a typo on my part. Let me double check this.
It's 107.
Yes, it is. It's 107, $107,000 a year for 3 years. So the total would be $321,000.
Well done.
Thank you. We're asking to place this on its third reading this evening, also being asked to place it on an emergency. The reason is to allow enough time for Solon City Council to meet and vote on the agreement prior to the end of the year. The chief did mention this. Chief Mason was here at Safety Committee and did mention, I believe most of the council was here for that. Any questions on Resolution 112 or anything additional for the chief?
No.
Okay. Shannon's over there looking, she's doing some questioning, my numbers.
It says 102, it says 102 in the document.
I thought it said 107.
He said 107.
The actual contract from the city of Solon says 102.
It says 102. It's on page 3 of 6.
Interesting.
I can pull it up here.
Great deal.
It's a great deal. We just saved
You
$15,000.
also don't have to hire a jailer.
It actually does say $102,000. Okay. So my correction, this is a renewal agreement with a base cost of $102,000, saving residents $5,000 a year from my previously aforementioned comment.
Nice job.
For a total term of 3 years, the total contract amount is $306,000 for 3 years.
Good math.
Look at this. We're saving money left and right.
Hey.
I like that.
Any additional questions on Resolution 112, 2023? All right. Moving along to Resolution 113, 2023. This resolution is the quarterly acknowledgement of receipt and review of the financials for July, August, and September of 2023. We do this quarterly. Any questions on Resolution 113, 2023? All right, that moves us along to Ordinance 114, 2023. This ordinance is for the annual appropriations for the year 2024. This will be on the first reading this evening. The total budget amount projected is $51,836,340. This number is comprised of estimates submitted by the mayor and finance director. Mrs. Conway gave a wonderful presentation in finance earlier this evening that all of council was here to attend. Are there any questions for Mrs. Conway? Anything additional that wasn't covered in finance? Or any other questions regarding the first reading of 114, 2023?
No.
All right, hearing none. Moving along to Ordinance 115, 2023. This ordinance is an appropriations amendment for various accounts. Specifically, the dispatch budget is being adjusted by $22,721 to allow for the purchase of the annual maintenance agreement and tower repair for radio links in our dispatch center. The second item this evening is for the sewer improvement fund, a total of $149,500. This is going to be for Glenwood Drive manhole repair project, which is being asked to be awarded in Ordinance 117, 2023. With that, and we're going to ask that this evening. Lastly is the council budget amount of $1,200 to provide for the update of codified ordinances. We are asking to place this on its third reading this evening, and also to place this on an emergency to allow for the completion of these amendments and appropriation amendments as soon as possible. Any questions regarding any of these adjustments, specifically in 115, 2023?
No.
All right. Moving along to Ordinance 116, 2023. This ordinance is to update Chapter 182 of the codified ordinances regarding income tax. This update is regarding Ohio House Bill 33, which made certain amendments to the state municipal income tax code, and the city administration is recommending incorporating the same into the city code. This will be on its first reading this evening. Any questions regarding 116, 2023? Perfect. Ordinance 117, 2023, and we touched on this earlier. This ordinance is to accept the bid of Plumbers Environmental Services for the Glenwood Drive manhole repair project in the amount of $149,500. This bid was advertised twice and opened publicly on November 8th, 2023. We are asking to place this on the third reading this evening and also to place it on an emergency this evening. That way we can get the bid awarded in a timely manner, get materials ordered, and get this project started as soon as possible. Are there any questions regarding ordinance 117? All right. Moving along to ordinance 118, 2023. This ordinance is the end of the year salary ordinance update. There are changes to the ranges of positions, along with the elimination of some part-time and seasonal positions. This ordinance also includes the elimination of one full-time position, which is reflective of the charter change that was passed at the November 7th, 2023 election. This will be on its first reading tonight. However, we are asking council to place it on its third and final reading at the next council meeting. So we should be reading it then 2 times. Are there any questions on the salary ordinance, ordinance 118, 2023?
No.
All right, that wraps up legislation. Moves us along to miscellaneous. Council, does anyone have any miscellaneous items they'd like to discuss or bring up during caucus this evening?
No.
All right. With that, we will adjourn the caucus meeting at 7:18 p.m. and we'll see you back here in 12 minutes.